Hi, I'm Karl Shallowhorn, president and founder of Shallowhorn Consulting. I'm a mental health advocate from Buffalo, New York, and I've been working in the field of addiction and mental health for over 19 years. We've seen COVID since the last year or so come to the United States and impacted so many people. And we know that smoking is a definite risk factor for COVID in terms of how it affects the respiratory system. So many people who have contracted COVID and who have been smokers have died as a result of that or have become very ill. So what we know is that we want to disincentivize smoking and help people understand that by quitting smoking, you're reducing your risk for developing COVID. Another thing we could do is to consider how young people are impacted by smoking. For instance, we haven't seen a change in the tobacco taxes in 10 years. So the price that young people see is the price they've always known. And in fact, so if there's an increase in the tobacco tax, even by $1, they'll realize that it impacts them financially. And so by the fact of it increasing by $1, they may be incentivized to not purchase cigarettes. Also, we know that addiction for nicotine and substances like other things like alcohol and so forth happen during adolescence. So by helping them to understand that if they don't start the habit of smoking, they can be healthier. And that's another thing we want to do too. So there are a lot of reasons why we want to implement this tax. And like I said before, the idea of it being financial in nature, by taking this tax and putting it towards the program like the Tobacco Control Program, we're helping the Smokers Quit Line, which is a great resource for people to use to learn the tips that they can use to quit smoking. And of course, when you talk about finances also, think about the idea of disincentivizing smoking by letting people know how much smoking impacts them financially. So when you think about a pack of cigarettes in New York State, it costs roughly $10.75. And with that cost, imagine a person smoking one pack a day, how much they're putting towards this habit, which they could be putting towards use of other ways. They could be putting towards their children's inheritance for that matter. And think about that. So if you put it that way to people, they might realize more how much it's impacted them, not just financially, but also physically. So all these things could be used to help people understand how much smoking affects them in the long run. But right now, we're talking about the tobacco tax program. So we want to encourage you to reach out to your legislators, let them know that we want this tobacco tax, let them know that it needs to be passed as soon as possible so that we can try to put money into the programs like the Tobacco Control Program and have individuals in New York State learn ways to quit smoking and lead healthier lives. So we encourage you to reach out and do your part, and want to thank you for all that you do.